What's up? I'm Noelle at Noelle's Notions, and this is Fame by the Flame with Jayne Gray.
What's up, guys? It's Jayne Gray. How's it going?
All right, Jayne Gray. So I'm really excited for you to be on Fame by the Flame. I love having fly females on the show, so thank you for coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are a very multi-dimensional artist. I mean, just by your sound, I was going through all your music, and it just it was a whirlwind. I didn't really know what to expect. So how did you develop your sound as an artist?
Well, I would say that I'm still very much in the process of developing my sound.
Okay.
And as you might have heard in my new EP, each song is an entirely different genre.
Yeah.
And I did that on purpose to try to test the waters a little bit to see, okay, what are people going to dig? Because at this point I've been trying to just mess with all the genres.
Mm-hmm.
My roots are in hip-hop, but I also love the electronic music, so I've experimented with trap, bass house, dubstep, industrial techno, and so I had all that on the new EP just to kind of test the waters to see what people might be into.
Awesome. Well, I definitely caught that vibe on each song because, I'd be listening to one song on your new album, which fans, if you have not heard it, you need to go and listen to it. It's out now everywhere, right? SoundCloud, Spotify,
Google Play.
Yes, and you have to kind of go through each one because, like you said, it is a journey. You don't really know what to expect when you hear the next song,
Right.
But I really liked some of your, before we go into each song off your new EP, I want to talk a little about your older stuff because you said your sound is always evolving. Yeah, so the first one I like is Looking Like a Meal, and I just thought that was hilarious, first off the name. But it's like a mix of like a Pitbull song and like Trina, right?
Yeah.
So shout out Trina.
Shout out Trina, shout out Pitbull.
But so how did you come up with that, mesh, I guess, of a song?
That one was kind of a trip, honestly, and I feel like the songs that people have resonated with the most are always the songs that I just will kind of sit down and make in a day.
Okay.
There are some songs that I will nitpick over and obsess over and just kind of fool with for a long time, and then sometimes they'll hit and sometimes they won't, but the songs I just sit down and make in a day are usually the ones that people are really into.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is funny how you're saying that people kind of like the ones that are just off the top of your head, right? But I maybe feel like that's the reason, because when they come to you, it's like an energy that you put into that piece of work, what's the feeling that you get when you develop these creations?
I mean, it's like nothing else. I feel sometimes like a creative purge when I've really hit something and hit the ground running with it. And if I really get going on a song, it'll be all I can think about. I can't even go out with friends. I'll be like, I could be doing this right now, and I'll obsess over it, and I'll drive my friends crazy.
So they're used to the creative mind then, right? So how did you start in music? Like you said, you're still developing your sound, but obviously it had to come from somewhere, right?
Right.
So let's go back to humble beginnings. Where did you start? How did you figure out that you were really, going to do this music thing?
Well, no one in my family has ever been into music.
Okay.
I am very different than my family in a lot of ways, in good ways, and they all love me.
Yeah.
We have a good relationship, but I think it started when I started writing poetry.
Okay,
actually.
wow.
I started writing poetry, and then soon after that I realized that I wanted to have a bigger audience, and so I tried to publish poetry online, but it wasn't reaching what I wanted it to. I couldn't just be like, hey guys, look at this poem, and then have it
streamer.
I don't know, I've always been into big things, and so I was like, what if this was audio? And then I soon figured out after that I couldn't sing. Still can't sing. Went down that road. So I was like, what if I rap?
Yeah.
And so I started rapping, and then that led into producing, and I've always loved writing. Those are my roots. Writing is my roots, and that's why even though I've kind of taken a step away from the hip-hop genre, I'm still trying to include lyricism and mesh that with EDM.
Yeah. Which definitely I feel like comes across on your new EP, It Was All a Dream, because I feel like some of the songs in there are very, trap house, and then some are just very, it's kind of like spoken word, your intro. The intro is very spoken word in the beginning,
I was trying to go back to the roots with that one, and I feel like if you're listening to a hip-hop instrumental, you almost feel like something else is supposed to be there if there's no lyrics.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of places where lyrics would be in EDM songs is replaced with synthesizers, and so sometimes it can be too busy to include lyrics in it. And so I'm trying to find a happy medium and staying to the hip hop roots while also exploring some more wubby bass vibes.
Yeah, and I was gonna say your stuff is really like dirty. Like it's like really hits you like in your chest. You know, like when I was listening to that stuff, I was like vibing on the freeway, like mobbing through cars. Like,
Is that why you were late? Did you get a ticket?
Yeah, that's yep. Shout out to California Highway Patrol. You guys know me on the
Doing
freeway.
God's work.
Saving lives. But so I just, you know, the sound just is like really like grabs a hold of like your soul, I think, and like really demands attention because it's just kind of dark, like, and so, and I want to say that that's kind of where the Gray and Jayne Gray comes from, but like, what's your explanation of it?
Of the Jayne Gray.
Yeah.
So I used to go by Moksha a couple years ago. I've only been at this for 2 years. Well, the whole DJ electronic thing. Hip hop goes back to 8 years ago. Yeah. But I was Moksha for a while, and then I decided that I didn't deserve that name because it means release from the karmic cycle of rebirth in Hinduism. Oh, wow. Okay. And after a while, I was like, who am I to take on that name? That might be like someone going by Jesus in China or something. Yeah, it didn't seem like that word's still very special to me. Actually, I have it tattooed on my neck.
Oh,
but
wow.
I didn't want to represent that name as a DJ, especially since sometimes I do questionable things on stage, like throw dildos at people, and like, I don't want to be called Moksha doing that. So I was on the market for a new name, and I was in London last year with my ex-girlfriend, and we went on a murder mystery tour. Okay. And it ended with learning about the 9-day queen, Jayne Gray. And it resonated with me right away. She was queen for 9 days, and she's executed at a young age. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is horrible. Yeah. But then he turned the photo around, and it looked kind of like me in the photo. Oh, wow. And my middle name is Jayne. So, and I love the color gray. So it just hit me. Yeah, like full circle, that right? That would be my name. Check the copyright. I'm actually in the process of getting it trademarked right now, too. Awesome. And so it'll be a thing.
Awesome. Sure. So the definitely universe provided in the sense of, like, you gave up one name that meant a lot to you, but you received another one that was definitely a lot of elements to you as an artist, kind of summed in one.
Yeah, and plus I feel like artists, and I tell my friends this all the time that are trying to build careers in music, that you should choose a stage name that you can grow into. Yeah. I feel like Moksha was a dead end, plus there were other people already called that, and it wasn't going to be marketable. Yeah. Whereas I noticed as soon as I chose Jayne Gray, I took a step up in my career and was able to be more memorable to people, and so people would understand what they were associating with my brand and who I'm trying to embody. Yeah. And so what would you say is your, I guess, like, what you're saying, like, what are you trying to embody then as an artist? Like, what are some key maybe traits that you really want fans to associate with Jayne Gray? Well, I want to be some divine feminine power. Awesome. Awesome. People always say, oh, there's no women on this lineup, but you know, by ratio of it, there's not as many women that are doing it right now. And so why would there be an equal number of women to men on a lineup when not as many women are DJs? And so I want to be someone that's unapologetically being themselves out there, and I think that I want to be a female DJ / producer / lyricist that is not being overtly sexual to try to gain fans either, although I know a lot of my music is sexual. I try to be more metaphorical about it. So it's like, oh, does she mean that? Or like oh, that's funny. Well, and I know that, you know, you're talking about female empowerment and empowering other women DJs, and speaking of which, you actually work with Checkmate in the past. Shout out. Shout out Checkmate. And, you know, she kind of brought more of, like, the pop to your electric and kind of, like, blended it together. So how was it working with her, and, you know, do you have any plans to work with other female artists? Well, Checkmate, she's been my inspiration. Well, because I moved to Sacramento 5 years ago. Okay. She was in it before me. And this was before I developed my style. She was kind of the only female DJ doing it in Sacramento. So naturally, I noticed her and related to her through that. And we ended up developing different styles, though. So it's always funny because we actually had 2 shows in 1 week where we played right after each other. Oh, okay. And it was like an energy shift because she's more like boom, 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 and I'm like boom. Yeah. So it was a fun little like flip flop in the energy. But actually, my first time ever DJing was so mortifying. Oh gosh, why? I got my controller in January of 2017.
Okay.
And I practiced. And
yeah.
then finally, shout out to Be Funky Brandon for booking me way before I was ready, so I could have a trial by fire experience.
Yeah.
I knew I needed to like get out there and learn. I've been practicing in my room forever.
Yeah, you just need to be kind of thrown into it.
Yeah, and shout out to my roommates at that time for putting up with me train wrecking in my bedroom for 6 months before I ever went out to actually DJ. And so I got up there, played my set.
Yeah.
Completely just cringing right now. It was not a good first set. And,
oh man.
I'm thankful now that things didn't stay that way. But there was probably 3 people there, and Checkmate was one of them. And she comes up to me after my set, and she's like, "Yeah, like you did good, but maybe just don't play the same song twice next time."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh no, I thought no one saw that," because I panicked and played the same song twice.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? Practice makes perfect. And what is it like 300,000 hours or 3,000 hours or something?
10,000.
It's a lot of hours. All I know is to be a pro at anything. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And you definitely have to kind of, like you said, like trial and error, like putting that work in and having that criticism, because I feel like not all criticism is bad in the sense of it helps you to develop a better sense of your style, makes you be more refined and kind of go down a path that's more like you and representative of what you want to present to the world.
Absolutely. And if someone had told me after that set, like, yeah, you did a great job, I would have been like, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
But I appreciate her saying that.
Yeah.
And I've been profoundly embarrassed in every way possible since DJing the past 2 years.
Awesome.
And
well, you know what? Embarrassment's good, right? Because it gets you out of your shell, it gets you out of your comfort zone.
Thick skin.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
You're just like, whatever, I put out what I want.
Exactly.
But never play the same song twice.
No,
right?
I haven't done that since then. So.
And so do you have any plans to collaborate with any other artists, whether that be on the production side, like you were saying, like producing stuff, or be actually like features in some of the new music that you have in the works?
Yeah, so actually Checkmate and I are planning a collaboration together.
Oh, wow.
So quite eclectic.
Yeah, so first on Fame by the Flame, you guys, you have to stay tuned for that. I'm excited. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
2 girls in the 916 collabing it up for like...
We go to the same gym, so I'll meet up
Oh,
with
there
her
you go.
and we'll talk about it.
You're like doing stairs and like talking music.
Exactly.
So you collaborated with Checkmate in the past. You said you have some new works with her in the future, kind of like boiling up. But you also, I'm sure, have a lot of stuff coming up with other artists and other things you're doing. So do you want to talk about some of those future collaborations?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's been something I've been trying to do more lately. Now that I feel like my production is getting to a sound that I actually like. Yeah. I've been beginning to create tracks with other artists in mind. Okay. While still doing my own lyrics for about half of them. Okay. So I feel like that's something I like producing for myself as well. Because the whole thing is mine. I love having complete control over every single part of it. Well, I was going to say a lot of, having the vocals, control over those probably comes from back to your hip-hop side, which is where you got started, right? So maybe like kind of break down the journey you went through, because even though you said you're still growing as an artist, there's definitely a past that kind of puts you to where you are right now. So do you want to kind of share a little bit of that journey with our fans? Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in Virginia, actually, and I moved out to Sacramento 5 years ago. Apparently, ever since I was little, I said I wanted to come to California. Yeah. So here I am, chased a lover out here. It didn't work out, which is for the best. It's wherever West Coast is the best coast, right? It is, exactly. Yeah. And so I had actually some kind of strange vision when I was still in Virginia. I was 17 years old. Okay. And I was driving to my friend's house, and everyone that I was friends with lived 30 minutes away because I lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere. And all of a sudden, I saw myself on stages, and I saw myself playing music. And that was strange because I went to a Christian school. I lived like a very southern lifestyle. And so that was interesting, and it hit me so hard that I told my friend about it when I got to her house. And this was around the same time that I was discovering electronic music for the first time. And I was just like, what are these sounds? Yeah. Skrillex, Scary Monsters, and Nice Sprites. That was when he was first revolutionizing that sound. Yes, and shout out Skrillex. He's definitely revolutionary. Absolutely. And so that happened, and then I've been reading Mastery by Robert Greene lately, and he has a time in that book where he says there will be a moment in your life where you realize what you're supposed to do in your life. And sometimes people miss it, and other times people don't. And I truly believe that that was the time in my life where I realized what I was supposed to do. And so then fast forward 2 years later, got my controller, embarrassed myself as a DJ for a year, and then went down to LA and took a DJ class, a music production class. Came back up, and then things started to happen, and they shocked me at first. But at the same time, I realized I was also very into the marketing side of things.
Yeah.
And I consider that an art as much as producing the song or anything.
Definitely.
And sometimes I wonder, because I have friends that just do not enjoy marketing at all. They're like, well, that could be time you could be making music while you're spending, paying for these advertisements or pushing your songs to these labels and whatnot, or making Jayne Gray keychains and stuff.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, I feel like a lot of people underestimate the fact that music is a business first and foremost, and what you're selling is the product of your sound, but ultimately you are selling something. And like you said, you know, to have that background in marketing, that is really going to propel you forward with getting your name out there and branding yourself so that people are aware of you, you know? Because there's people right now who have like terrible music, but they have a good brand, you know?
Won't be named, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Won't name any names. You guys know who you are. But yeah, it's all about, you know, building that brand, because once you have a brand, then you can get that following, and then that following is what puts money in your pocket.
Absolutely. And we also live in a time where music production equipment is so easily accessible.
Yeah.
Anyone can be a DJ in a month. Anyone can produce music. Not a good DJ, but you can be a DJ in a month. Yeah. Anyone can produce music these days. It's just, it's so accessible with all the technology we have, and it's beautiful. But it also means to me that artists need to put meaning behind their craft.
Definitely.
Because these days anyone can make a sweet bass line, like an awesome drop. And I think that putting the meaning behind it is what really impacts people,
yeah.
and therefore elevates your career.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to dilute it, is, you know, to your point, is you definitely want to have like this presence behind the sound that you're putting out. And I know you've done a lot of different shows and been on multiple stages. What's your favorite, or maybe let me ask this, what's the feeling that you get when you go on stage? Because you've had so many different experiences in so many different stages.
Gosh, it's an out-of-body experience. I barely remember before I get up there, honestly. And another thing that really got me into DJing was being in the crowd. I've loved festivals, and before I DJ'd, I spent a lot of time doing different work at festivals. I've worked at info booths at festivals. I've picked up garbage at festivals. Yeah. I've picked up garbage at Organic Clips and Symbiosis, and I did that a lot. And being in the crowd at those festivals, I'd see the DJ up there moving people, and I thought, wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
What I'm feeling right now, imagine being the person that's making thousands of people feel that at the same time, and I really wanted to know what that felt like.
Yeah.
And it's finally, I'd say, this year beginning to happen. I mean, my first year as a DJ, I played in the shittiest places you could imagine to like 3 people. Yeah. But now I've played at Emissions, where Rusko and Bauer was playing. I did Heart and Solstice with Polish Ambassador and Closey. Yeah. Shout out Polish Ambassador. Shout out Polish Ambassador. Shout out Rusko too. Yeah, Heart and Solstice. Yeah. Still Dream with Schlump and Zebler and Canty Experience. And it's finally playing for more people. I'm finally beginning. I'll be high for days afterwards. Yeah. You know, sometimes in the green room, some people are like, oh, you want this, you want that? I'm like, no, like, I already feel that.
You're like, I'm already high from the experience.
Take that to feel how I already feel. Like, yeah. It's just, exactly. It's the best thing I can imagine. It's also terrifying.
Yeah, I bet, because you're basically revealing yourself to a bunch of people that you don't know, and kind of just letting them judge you in a way, in the sense of the sound that you put out and how they vibe with what vibe you have on stage. Now, you said, you know, from the very beginning of this interview that your sound is progressing and you're finding yourself as an artist, and just now this year you really kind of developed who you are and your brand, and you're going, you know, with that in order to connect with your fans. But I'm curious, where do you see yourself, let's say, in the next 2 years?
The next 2 years. Well, next year will be extremely pivotal for me, as I'm moving to North Hollywood in November, and I'm starting a year-long electronic music production school called Icon Collective. So now I can see what I've been doing wrong all these years as a self-taught artist, and don't get me wrong, I like the way my music sounds, and I like what I've done on my own. I think you can learn a lot on your own these days with all of the lessons that are accessible. Yeah. But I think that this next year will extremely determine that, and I feel extremely blessed to go to the school as well, because they teach you more about branding and stuff that I'm already doing, and not to mention being around like-minded people that are also just hustling their asses off. And I'm mainly going to the school just to collaborate and network with other artists.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, you know, you guys can feed off of each other, and even though being a self-taught musician has a lot of perks because you get a lot of control, there is something to say for learning from people who've already kind of stumbled a couple times along the way and have these lessons already learned, so that you don't have to personally go through them.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm a huge believer in energy as well.
Yeah.
And if I'm with that creative energy and people that are also seeking the knowledge that I'm seeking, how could I not be inspired by that? And so I'd say that will really determine the direction I'm going in the next 2 years.
Awesome. Well, I know we're all excited to see you progress as an artist and bloom into the wonderful DJ that we know you are. And by the way, you guys, again, the new EP is out. So what is your favorite song off that?
Oh, that's easy. I very much enjoy Heavy Fetish.
Heavy Fetish.
That's the one. And it has the best story behind it, too.
Okay, well, tell us. What is it?
So I spent the greater part of this year in my studio alone.
Okay.
Because I was obsessed with sounding good as a musician. And like I said, I've only been a DJ for 2 years. I've only been producing for a year.
Yeah.
So I'm shocked at how far my sound has gotten a year, but I'm also not, because I literally sacrificed my social life.
Yeah.
I lost all my social skills. I'd like go out and be like, hey guys, what's up?
Like, do I drink the pinky up, or do I chug this? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, and like I'd get my socializing at shows, but then I'd like burrow back down.
Yeah.
And I'd spend 12 hours a day on Ableton, but I know that's what you have to do. You have to put in the time, like 10,000 hours, like you said. And so one morning I woke up just feeling really down. I think that, you know, isolating, it's not like as a musician I'm in a band. As an electronic music producer, you are the band, which means sometimes it's lonely.
Yeah.
And so I woke up one morning and I was like, I'm going to Berlin. And so by noon I bought a ticket to Berlin.
Oh, wow.
And I had someone to travel with.
Yeah.
And so next week I went to Berlin. And I had an experience with a woman my first night in Berlin that was just all the muse energy I needed to create music.
Yeah.
Which is what I determined afterwards was my reason for going to Berlin, was to gain musical inspiration.
Yeah.
And needless to say, I didn't get on my plane back home. Instead, I went to Ireland with her for another week. She actually just came and visited too.
Oh, wow.
Fun fact, she's the cover on my album.
Oh,
you can't really tell because it's so edited.
Yeah, yeah.
But the whole It Was All a Dream name of the EP concept is the fact that it was such a whirlwind, and it was all a dream in my mind. And so, like, she had to be the cover of the album. Obviously.
Yeah.
And so that's where Heavy Fetish came from. There was blood and lust in our Berlin flat is some lyrics within that song. And that song also took me the longest to make out of all of them, because I had never experimented with industrial techno before. Ever.
Yeah, I was going to say, that song hits hard.
I spent 12 hours one day just choosing one synth. For like the bridge between the two bass lines, I was like, no. It took me forever to find that like, and so I think that that's the song I'm most proud of, and it also means the most to me emotionally.
Awesome. Well, Heavy Fetish, you guys, you have to listen to it and listen to the lyrics, right? I always find it so interesting hearing the backstory of a song, because then when you listen to it, you realize that that artist just had an experience that was that energy that now they're putting out into the world for others to connect with, and I think that's awesome.
Absolutely. And I love looking like a meal too, and because I've seen that meme on Facebook, it's like, I'm not looking like a snack, I'm looking like a meal. Like, that's fun. Like, I don't look like a meal, and so that's why I made the song like that. But in the Heavy Fetish, it connected to me in a more like intrinsic way. And I spent time on those lyrics, which reminded me of writing poetry in my younger years, and so connecting the two together is, I was going to say,
full circle, right? To now kind of have this EP that you are not only proud of, but really represents a lot of the experiences that you went through to be in the spot that you are today.
Absolutely. And I've found lately that collaborating with other lyricists is rewarding in a way, because at first I was like, no, I want every song to myself, to like, produce for myself, but no, it's incredible to feel like you're providing the canvas for someone else to paint their ideas on, which is what being a producer is. And I'm working with this woman called Holly Day. Shout out to Holly Day in Los Angeles right now. We have 2 collaborations in the mix. Pretty much ready for mastering. They should be out within the next month or so. But she's a badass. She can sing, she can rap, she gets down, she can do way more than me. And so the first song we made, which will be called Levitate, she texts me. She's like, thank you so much. I needed this. Like, I haven't written in about a month now. I needed to get back in there. And you can really see her emotion in the song as well. And I could tell that what I had done by providing this song for her meant a lot to her.
Yeah.
And that's why some lyricists will be like, what do you want me to say? I'm like, you have full creative liberty to say whatever you want. Because as a poet, I never want to tell someone else what to say.
You have to write within these parameters.
Right, or like, here's
but bare your soul.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, here's the lyrics, like, perform now.
Yeah.
Like, no, I want it to be intimate for them, and I feel like the best art will come from if I'm like, I trust you, just write whatever you want.
Well, I'm really excited to hear that, especially now with another female collaboration on it. I think that's going to be so dope. And you said it's going to be out in a month, right?
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and I like to work with women. I like to work especially within the LGBTQ community as well, and just like give artists a platform for that as well. But yeah, this is definitely the most mainstream sounding song I have made yet. Some people might not like it because it's less of like looking like a video where it's like, what genre is this? This one sounds very DJ Snake, which is kind of shocking to me. It's very like da 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 da. And so, hey, I mean, I want to have something more polished.
You have to try it all, right? You have to try it out. You tried, more of the hip hop stuff. You tried more of the trap house, the deep house, the electronic, the industrial, and so now you're going to go a little bit mainstream. I think it's awesome that you're kind of dabbling in everything. I feel like a lot of artists are afraid to do that, and I admire your fearlessness. Yeah.
I think that after this more polished song, I'm going to start leaning more towards heavy fetish, though, because like I said, the album was to have a little sample tray to figure out what I was going to do next.
Yeah.
But I think that the heavy fetish song, I'm going to do more dark, more industrial sounding things and try to maybe have a whole EP that actually sounds like the same person produced it next time.
Yeah.
Just try that out.
Well, I'm excited to hear that. I know that fans are definitely going to stay tuned, not only into the new album that you just released, your new EP, It Was All a Dream, you guys, again, go check it out, but we'll also be in the wings waiting for the next step that you have.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Jayne Gray, thank you so much for being on Fame by the Flame.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I really appreciate you. Fly Female. I love that you're also supporting Fly Females out in the music scene, and I'm really excited to see all the stuff that you have in the works to come.
Absolutely. Females represent. This has been Jayne Gray.
And this is Noelle at Noelle's Notions, and Fame by the Flame at Amina Labs. Until next time, you guys.